will now be recorded.
Good.
We're all set.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you for being here today for the Board of Water, Wastewater Commissioners meeting agenda for Thursday, September 24th, 2020 at 1 p.m. on remote participation. First, I'm going to call the meeting to order and I'll look for a motion for the consent agenda for the minutes for August 12th.
Chairman, I move we approve the minutes of August 12th.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. Second.
I'll take a vote. Thank you, Judith. I'll take a vote by roll call. Alan?
Yeah. Aye.
Judith?
Aye.
And it's an aye for myself. Thank you. All right. Next, we have old unfinished business. Dan, laborer hiring?
Yeah, so I was hoping to have a little bit more information today. We did have to reschedule a second interview, so I'll likely have additional information at the next meeting. But we did receive 26 applicants. We've conducted our first round of interviews, which included the physical aptitude test, if you will. We set up a, stick a pipe out back and set up some corporation and curb stop and made sure they could twist a wrench. And next interview is scheduled for next week. So hopefully we will have someone on board shortly.
That's great. How many people is it down to now, Dan?
We have one final interview scheduled at the moment.
Okay. Okay, new business, FY21 budget and article review for annual town meeting. Dan.
Yes, so you'll see in the packet are 3 articles for the Water Wastewater Commission. We did have a 4th article, you may recall, that was for the well exploration that was left out by accident, ultimately. I had spoke with Joe last week, and when they had stripped the warrant after delaying town meeting due to COVID and stripped the warrant down, the well exploration article did not get put back on. That said, I reached out to one of our well drillers to try to get some pricing on doing test holes and test wells to try to see if we can still make progress on our goal of finding a new source. So I think that we're still going to be able to make progress over the next, the remainder of the fiscal year. So it's not per se a end of the world issue. Hopefully we can still get enough work done to make some decent progress. But other than that, we do have the water department budget, the water wastewater budget, and funding for last year's unpaid bills. So I just touch on those 2 real quick. Ty and Bond, who conducted the rate study for us, neglected to bill us until after the close of the fiscal year. So in order for us to pay those invoices, we have to appropriate it through town meeting because we can't pay a prior fiscal year's invoice with the current fiscal year's budget. So that's the source of those 2 articles. And the others would be the budgets, which we went over wastewater budget at the last meeting, and the water department budget was some months ago. So I wanted to put this on for just a refresher as we have town meeting in 2 days. Mm-hmm. So with that, I would leave it to you if there's any questions or clarifications.
All right, this money's coming from retained earnings?
For which?
For Teague and Bond.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
And then the water department budget, as you guys know, that's funded through this, water rates, and the one difference with the sewer budget is that it's actually funded from 3 separate funding sources. So we have it being funded from, a small portion being funded from the sewer retained earnings, another portion from the tax levy, and another from free cash. So the total sewer budget's being funded from 3 separate locations.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Gary, if you're talking, you're muted.
Sorry. Just the sewer operating budget, that 272,932, that's just expecting that everything goes according to plan and the order to connect is issued.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes. So,
And if that, go ahead.
please, you finish.
Well, if that doesn't happen within that time frame, that 272,932 might not even be touched for FY21.
Yeah. So with the 272, there's gonna be a handful of it's a lot of it is contingent upon when the order to connect gets sent out. I expect Robert Hour will be done, early spring with all of their pipe work. I expect that they will be done in Chatham with the pump station work around the same time. So, we could conceivably send out the order to connect that early. Obviously, a lot of things have to fall in place between now and then to make that happen. Contract ops and things of that nature. So depending on, this is funding for the earliest point at which we could connect. Now, if we go out beyond July, then the 272 in this year's budget, or what was left of it, would then be certified in retained earnings the following year.
Okay.
And it should be
So,
a goal.
going
to
over
try
to the sewer, right?
Yeah, to build the sewer enterprise fund.
Right.
I mean, the enterprise
Right.
fund itself actually, plays a balance to fund capital improvements, but also to cover emergency expenses, so if we find ourselves in an emergency situation with regard to sewer, we want to make sure that we have funds available to rectify whatever it may be.
Right. And over on the water budget, the office and indirects are for 730,000. That also includes, that's also the insurance, right, and liability?
Yes.
Is that all in that, indirects?
Correct. Yep.
That's why it's so high now, because that's all.
And that also
in that
covers.
line item.
Yes, that
Okay.
covers health insurance for employees, as well as physical insurance for property and the department's assets, as well as, the indirect expenses for accounting, treasurer, town administrator's office.
This is the check that goes to town hall right off the top.
Any further questions regarding the? All right. Any other questions about the sewer budget or the water budget?
No?
No.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Nope. Okay. Moving on to FY20 free cash certification.
So these were
Can I
just sent
ask
out.
one question? Sorry.
Yes, Judith.
Will you be presenting this at town meeting? Like, will you be going over it, or?
I am there to answer any question the public may have with respect to the
Okay.
budgets.
Okay.
The budgets will be in the book and the handbook, and it'll probably be up on the screen. And if there are any questions at that point, they'll probably be brought up then.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else?
Sorry to interrupt.
You're welcome. No, fine. Dan, FY20 free cash certification.
Yes. So we received these from the finance director. I believe it was a week or so ago. Our free cash certification for 2020 for the water enterprise fund is 1.429 million. And for the sewer enterprise fund is 271,000. So when we, at town meeting this weekend, if we appropriate, to fund the sewer budget, that 271,000 in retained earnings would then drop that 72,000 that we're funding the sewer enterprise with.
But Dan, where did the 271 come from? Seeing that nothing's flowing yet.
So when the sewer enterprise was created a number of years ago, the sewer department was funding, I believe the first year was 70,000. I believe the second year was, 150,000. So these are what's left from those initial funds that weren't expended. So the thought at the time was we knew that the sewer department was going to need to be subsidized by the general fund. This is no surprise. We've known this. So to help prevent a shock to the budget, for the 2%, up 2.5%, what Chris had done over the past several years was started to build up that sewer budget so that when it came time to have a sewer operating budget, we weren't adding a new $300,000 a year to the general fund, obligation. We would be able to have, only a small increase over, what the prior year was. If that makes sense.
Okay. It does. Thank you. All right. 20-ton trailer bid.
So in your packet, you'll find a cover letter and as well as all the backup information for the 20-ton tag-along trailer replacement. The value of the procurement is under Chapter 30B, so it's under 50,000, so we don't need to do closed bid. So we can do what I did was the traditional request for proposals from the 3 vendors that normally provide this type of equipment we're searching for. Schmidt Equipment did come in at the lowest bid at $22,180 for an interstate trailer that meets all the specifications. And I'm happy to take any additional questions if we want to have a discussion first. Or...
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we award the bid to the Schmidt Equipment Company for a interstate 40 DL equipment trailer in the amount of $22,180.
I'd like to second that.
Is there a second?
There's a second.
Any further discussion? Dan, just this trailer that. Yep. Thank you, Judith. The trailer we're buying, the vehicle we have to pull it is big enough to operate that?
Yes.
The trailer's not going to be too big for that truck.
Trailer's not going to be too big for that truck. I have confirmed and reconfirmed with our fleet operators.
Okay. So we have a motion. Okay. We might have to have those names if we find out that the trailer is too big. So we have a motion. We have a second. And I'll take a vote by roll call. Alan?
Aye.
Judith?
Aye.
And it's an aye for myself. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, and I would ask also if the board is comfortable authorizing myself to execute the contract. The trailer is going to have a lead time. I'm not quite sure exactly how long yet, I would like to be able to reach out to the vendor, share the notice of award, and request they provide a signed contract so that we can get this ordered. Again, that would be at the board's discretion.
I would say
I'll make
still
the
move.
motion.
Yeah, I agree.
Alan made the motion to approve. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
All right, any further discussion? I'll take a vote by roll call. Alan?
Aye.
Judith?
Aye.
And it's an aye for myself. All right. Moving on, superintendent's report, Flushing.
Flushing. So I just wanted to make announcement in public forum that the department's going to be kicking off our fall flushing. We have a tentative start date of October 5th, weather pending, as long as we're not getting rained out. And we'll be distributing signs and making sure everyone's aware. But just this is the first fall flushing of 2020, and wanted to make sure no one got stained clothes, dirty laundry. So,
All right. So starting in October 5th. Okay.
next item, I can just continue on the drinking water supply protection grant. We did solicit quotes from a number of appraisers. We're still waiting to hear back on a couple of them. A lot of them are incredibly busy at the moment, but we are in process and hope to have at least someone ironed out in the next month or so. And Great Western Road, the crew was out this week at night, several evenings this night, installing the 2-inch crossover.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, this is part 2 of the original Thursday, September 24th meeting because we were cut off. We have Alan Thompson, Judith, and myself, Gary Crow, Dan Pelletier. We were working on the superintendent's report. Dan, you were going over item B, the drinking water supply program grant.
Oh yeah, so I was wrapped up on that. Just letting the board know that we have solicited put out the request for quotes, and still waiting back. We got a couple in, and hopefully we will have someone lined up by in the next month or so.
Okay.
All right, on to the next. The Great Western Road. So dig and crew is out this week, several evenings to take care of the crossovers from the National Grid project. So they did, I believe it was 4 or 5 2-inch services throughout the course of this week between the days and nights, because we can't close Great Western down. It's a real busy intersection. So kudos to the team for getting that work done. It saved the taxpayers, the water rate payers, a decent buck. So hats off to them.
How many crossovers were there, Dan?
The whole change order from Dubas was about $30,000 on the low end. There was a couple adders that, if they went beyond, a certain time, it was going to be an extra $500 or. So on the low end, it was 30,000 for Dubas to do the work. So.
Okay.
How many is left to be finished?
We have, I believe, this is the last handful. I'll have to confirm with Steve if this is the last one.
Okay. Okay. So they can go ahead and pave and we're okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and I don't expect them to be paving until the spring. I don't think they're gonna get it in this winter, or fall rather.
Okay.
Is that it, Dan?
That is it for me.
All right. Commissioners report. Alan, do you have anything?
I don't, no. Just town meeting coming up. I think we're good to go. And I'll see you there Saturday morning.
Yeah, so where is it? Are they setting a tent up?
It's at the Monomoy in the big football field.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a tent set up?
No, it's out in the open. So
Oh,
the chairs are spaced apart and wear a mask.
oh, all right. Okay, Judith, do you have anything?
I was to say, wear a hat. Don't bring. Asking people not to bring umbrellas for the sun, so you block somebody's view. I just wanted to throw out there. I think it'd be great if we start, or maybe this is really Dan. If we could figure out a round 2 of public outreach around wastewater, drinking water, water recharge areas in town, just given some of the potential, for example, the housing projects that may come up in East Harwich. There's just a lot of dialogue, and I think there needs to be more accurate information about at least the water recharge area, what that means as far as future development with regards to the sewers.
Yes.
All right, yeah.
I think people are anxious. It's a time of anxiety for everybody. And the more, Dan, you're really soothing. And people were really appreciative of the presentations you did in the past. I don't know what that looks like, through Zoom or whatnot, or maybe on channel, the community channel. Was it 18, 20?
Yeah, channel 18.
Channel 18, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, I presume the big approval of the big development in East Harwich is some of the impetus for, the conversation. And, there's some limitations on what what the town can do with regard to the 40Bs,
I'm going to recommend somebody from town hall speak to that piece as well.
Yeah.
As I understand, I've had a couple of calls on it, and but as I understand, it's just everything's preliminary. There's nothing concrete yet, and
Exactly.
And like I said to those folks, we'll keep an eye on it, and if it presents an issue, which I'm not expecting it to, we'll just wait and see how it plays out. I'm sure at some point we'll be asked to come. So we should be thinking about it. Be prepared, for whatever comes up.
Especially with questions about if something comes up that's
Right.
currently recharge area, what does that look like with regards to storing and whatnot? So
Yeah, I mean, part of the issue I foresee with the recharge area moving forward is that the recharge area is was defined in the regulations that the town has put in place relative to quantity of bedrooms per lot size, right? That was one of the big guiding factors with the recharge area. So one of the issues with trying to, I guess, use that as a crutch to prevent development is that with the implementation of sewers, there's going to be no nitrogen loading from any new construction within a sewered area. So the selectmen at the time that they passed, the wastewater articles had made a commitment and a promise not to amend the zoning bylaws in East Harwich.
I'm losing you, Dan.
Not increase the density. But that's kind of an arbitrary requirement now that the reason for the limitation is kind of taken off the table.
So, but is the zoning in place for multifamily dwellings?
I don't know if it's in place for multifamily dwellings, but the development that they're presenting right now to put in out there is it doesn't matter what Harwich local bylaws say anyway, because they're circumventing it through the 4DB process.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to, my town had a similar thing happen like this 3 years ago, and the Board of Selectmen had wrote a letter to Mass Housing, and, it was the whole town as an entity reaching out at the state level, in that case. It's been 3 years. They still haven't done anything, but, it's a battle, and, it's a legal battle.
Yep. Yep. Well, we just have to have a wait and see attitude about it at this point. See what develops.
So one of the things that I'm looking at too is, with that specific development, just tying everything back as far as water flows, wastewater, potential wastewater flows. And we're not sure yet exactly what the layout, the bedrooms, how many bedrooms per unit there's going to be. We just know how many units. So the way that we determine our sewer loading is, for Title V, is 110 gallons per day per bedroom, right? So once we determine how many bedrooms are going to be put in, we can then start to determine what the impacts on the collection system will be.
Well, that's all we can do is wait and see.
All right. Anything else for the commissioner's report?
No.
So I just have one thing I just want to clarify. A couple of weeks ago, three meetings back, I brought up the issue of the commissioners overseeing the water department employees alongside with the water superintendent. At that meeting, I asked the board for their approval to meet with the town administrator and Dan to review the charter and see what the pros and cons are with that, and what the feeling was. And then we brought that back to the board the following meeting, and again we discussed it, and I thought it was the board's approval that we move forward and take the path to take the authority back of the water department employees. So that was the meeting that I had with the town administrator and Dan, was in regards to the water department employees. At the end of that meeting, I asked Dan to stay on the meeting because I was having a problem with my iPad. I couldn't get it was either the video or the microphone to work. And I think it sounded as though I was asking Dan to stay on so he and I could have a discussion with not everyone involved. And that wasn't the case. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that I asked Dan to stay on so we could use the video and the microphone to try and get my iPad working, where I actually had to bring the iPad back into the department, and Dan fixed it. So I'm using my iPad now with the video and the microphone. But I just wanted everyone to realize that there was no business being discussed behind or off camera. It was just to get my iPad up and running, and that it is now. So I just didn't want anyone thinking that there was anything shady or business being discussed. So I hope you guys realize that and understand that. So I just wanted to clarify that. That's all I have. I have nothing else.
Okay,
So we need to plan the next meeting. Well, we'll see Saturday,
yeah,
and then from Saturday, well, from today, the 24th, 2 weeks would be between October 5th and the 9th. Any
So,
preference?
Gary, if I may, I was going to attempt to take off as much of next week as I could. I have a couple of appointments and meetings and things I need to,
Okay.
be on. That said, if the board
Okay.
would be okay to push it out to that week after, just so I can actually have 2 weeks of work
12th.
time in between meetings.
Yeah, that's Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
Monday's Columbus Day, the 12th. So it'd be the 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th. Any preferences?
16th would be fine, because usually I have a meeting on
Which
the
days?
5th. 16th,
16th is a Friday.
yeah,
Does that work, Judith?
Yeah, the 16th works for. Yes, the
Okay, so
16th is good.
We do the 16th at 1 o'clock then.
Can you guys hear? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, perfect.
that's it.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
I'll take a vote by roll call. Alan?
All right,
Judith?
aye.
And it's an aye for myself. Thank you very much. And I will see you all Saturday morning.
amen.